This week I faced my biggest glaze firing challenge yet with this mystery mold. I try and make a quilt with paper and we go for a swim under the sea. Hello, my name is Shelby and I'm a potter. I found this bulk lot of slip casting molds and one by one I'm pouring them up to reveal whatever is inside and then finish it into an artwork. This is the mystery mold series, so let's see what's in today's episode. Okay, it's time to open this one. Oh, it's heavy. Ooh, it's a little teapot. I think this is actually a one-serve teapot this time, not a creamer. Because last time I thought it was a single-serve teapot, but it was actually a creamer. And all of you let me know that. Hang on. I reckon that handle is actually an egg. It's got an egg handle. I love this so much. The shape is so simple and minimal for any kind of design, which is awesome. We love plain stuff, but it's so cute. I have wanted a single serve teapot for a really long time and I'm so glad I finally have one. I'll trim it up and I'll have a think about some ideas. The last teapot I did was the 100th mystery mold, which was really cool. So I don't know if I can like beat that design, but I think we can have a lot of fun with this. It is kind of interesting that the handle is an egg and it's kind of egg shaped. It looks like it's going to be like a boiled egg. I'm going to trim it up and check that the lid fits and that the spout is all good, and then it'll be ready to decorate it. I'm pretty confident the lid is going to fit, but let's do it together because it's always really exciting when the lid sits on it nice and flush. That is so cool. I love it so much. It's so cute. And do you know what I realized? I actually have little teapots on my dress. It was perfect. Whilst looking at this, it feels like it's going to make a complete egg, and I'm wondering whether there's now a teacup or something that sits in it, because I've seen some of those one serves where you brew the loose leaf tea in the top and then you take the cup off and you pour your tea into it. So I'm hoping that that is floating around somewhere. For now, I think that it's still a really cute teapot and I'll craft it as is. Here is a look at the mold. So an update on the teacup. I ended up contacting the person I got the teapot from, and I actually ended up getting the matching teacup for it. I went and collected it and I was so relieved that I got it and it hadn't been separated from the teapot mold in the end. So here I am pouring it up and getting it ready for the teapots. Because I had already poured the teapots, I wanted to try and rescue them, so I decided to pour the teacups and make them fit together. The one you're seeing me fit together here is actually one I poured together at the same time, and they actually had a really good seamless fit. Now I should have just carded the previous teapots and recycled the clay and redone them, because clay has a muscle memory. In case you didn't know, the teacup and teapots drying separately had this memory of drying independently, even though I bisque fired them together. Because they didn't dry together in harmony, they've kind of a little bit misshapen, if that registers to you at all. This will be important later on, because the important part about this set, the kind of like pivotal part, is the teacup and the teapot sitting together. Individually they look really cute as a set, so you can have just like the teacup and the teapot, but they kind of are designed to sit together, so you want them to sit together perfectly. I didn't mean for this video to come out near Easter. An egg, teacup, teapot set, how in tune with the season. I decided to go really Easter themed and paint jellyfish. I don't know why, I just really wanted to put jellyfish all over this. I was thinking about doing an Easter bunny design or some eggs or carrots or something, but I don't know, I just really wanted to paint these jellyfish. I haven't done jellyfish before, but I kind of wanted to make them look like little mushrooms with spaghettis coming out of them. I just did them a different array of colors. I did sponge on a blue backdrop, so when I did that I was a bit nervous that this backdrop would be really vibrant and would come through
glue behind the jellyfish a lot so you wouldn't see those bold shapes of the jellyfish. And also I had to do so many little coats of the little tentacles so that they had enough coats that they would pop above the blue. Just wasn't really a well thought out design. I just really wanted to do jellyfish for some reason. I then also decided to change the egg on the lid into a buoy to just like really lean into an ocean vibe. So yeah, I really just transformed this egg into a big ocean piece. I don't know why I decided this week to do designs that needed seamless matching on every single teapot, but here we are. I actually did this with both designs I picked for this week. Now that was really silly because I had to think about the teacup and the teapot fitting together seamlessly, but I also had to match the designs up on them. I don't know, that was really silly. I should have picked something else, like a design with a sky, ground, and underground. So like the lid being the sky, the teapot being the normal land, and then the underground, or something like that has 3 layers. So like a house with an attic, a home, a basement, or something like that. Maybe you've got some cool ideas around that, or like 3 different types of things. I don't know, just something that was 3 separate concepts that went together really well so that they didn't have to match up, but it would still look as part of the same set. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. The second design I actually did was a bit of an experiment. I wanted to use this one in particular to inspire you and to give you an idea that you might want to try out. I like using underglaze transfers, so these tissue transfers, because these are a really beginner friendly, wonderful way to add a lot of pattern and design aspects to your work if you're not confident with a paintbrush. I think that these are great because you can also do a lot of mixed media, do lots of different ideas with them, and they also have a vast variety of them. Like you can get little illustration ones now. It is wild the opportunity you have with these tissue transfers if you're not that skilled with a paintbrush, or maybe just want to do a little DIY project without getting all the underglazes. It's really great. I can't talk enough high praise of tissue transfers being really beginner friendly and great. I actually had this idea last year, but because I didn't get that teacup in time, like this is literally months in the making, this video, because I didn't get that teacup in time, I didn't get to do it. But I wanted to do this idea of like hexagons making up like a quilt, and then having these hexagons all over the piece to make this big quilt blanket. The issue is I just couldn't get these hexagons to match up and line up, so it just ended up being this massive messy collage of prints. But I think that's okay. Like it still gives this really cool aesthetic and look. I think that the hexagons probably would have been better on something like a flat surface, like a plate, where I wouldn't get those bubbles and warping and just changing in movement. I don't know where I went wrong. Like, do hexagons not perfectly fit on a circle? I don't know, but I'm just trying to figure out where I went wrong. So I think it would work better on a plate. I think it also would have been more effective where the pattern was the non-colored part and not the background. So because I use a lot of hexagons with blank backgrounds, you couldn't see a clear distinction of where one pattern ended and the other started. Like I actually thought it looked better with the paper on them. I was really excited for the reveal, but then it was just like, oh, now you can't see where the hexagons were. But just something to improve on next time, and an idea for you guys to try out and do it. I'm sure you'll do it way better than I did. I also added a bit of blue glaze onto the handles and also some funky glazes on the insides of the teacups. And then they went into the kiln and my fingers were crossed for their final reveal.
It is time to open the kiln for the first time this year for a mystery mold reveal. I'm so excited and I've really missed doing this, so let's get into it. Oh wow, they are very cool. I think the underglaze transfers have not popped as much as I wanted them to, but they still look really amazing. I think the added gold luster will really help elevate these pieces, because I think maybe because the egg is so white on the top, I'm like, oh, it looks a bit muted. But let's have a closer look, and I'm so curious to see whether the bottom teacup fits with the teapot. I'm very nervous. Hopefully it works.
we've got our teacups under here. So this is the first look at the teapots. I think that the blue is really vibrant and gorgeous, and so is the red, but the other little like more colored transfers have kind of been lost with the vibrancy of the blues. I almost feel like it would have been a better aesthetic. Just looking from the top, first judgment, I think it would have been a better look if I did all blues but different patterns, or even the same pattern but just mixing that hexagon around a little bit. Maybe once it's out and together it might look a bit more strong. Let's have a look. Maybe I take that back. I think it looks quite cool. Maybe it's just because there's a lot of blue. Actually, I think it may be because there's a lot of blue. I put a lot of blue together. That might actually be what it is. And maybe the handle's not helping either. Maybe there's just a lot of reasons why it's not really popping for me. I think it's cool though. I think it turned out really cool. No, I really like it. We're gonna have to test to see how the pour goes because I've done different sizes for the pouring spout to just test that as well. I like the simpleness of this as well. Maybe I should have done some transfers on there. I don't know, it kind of stands out though, which is cool. I definitely think that gold egg is just gonna make these ones pop in particular. Like I think they're gonna look magnificent once that gold is on that little egg. There's a lot of white and that might be why I feel the way I do. Is that it would have been better if they were more full colored patterns like this one so that you could really clearly see that distinct hexagon shape. Oh, I love that jellyfish. That is very cool. The thing is I could not see whether this teapot lid was lining up or not. I don't even know if it's going to come off, but it's not lining up with the jellyfish, so hopefully it hasn't shrunk to that because that's going to annoy me forever. The little boy looks cute too. All right, let's see these teacups. Ooh, wow, those glazes look great. I'm worried that has warped. I'm worried this changed shape a little bit because it looks like it's pulling this way out a little bit. Jeez, hope that they fit. That is very cool. All right, this is the first one I think. I think it definitely, okay. It's a big heart. Oh. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but it sits. It actually sits in there, but it's not like a tight fit like it was before. It does look like the teacup has like kind of changed shape a little bit. See, that hack doesn't work to just bisque them together. You kind of do have to, with my clay, I think you do have to fire them together. Oh, that one's even worse. Oh no. That one's even worse. Although, it's not horrible. It looks like it's pulled out this way. I'm just gonna keep going with the disappointment train. I don't even know what I think. I'm wondering whether next time I don't glaze this bit, but then I kind of like that it's like all glazed. I don't know. Oh, that one's so close. Again, it's just not right. I feel like I've proved myself now because everyone is in the suggestions being like, you can just bisque them together and then they stay the same shape. But no, they change shape in the glaze firing as well. Like this has just proved my point. But it's just my clay, I think. I wonder if put the teacups on the top shelf of the kiln or even like the lower shelf, whether they might have just pulled a little bit on certain shelves because of the heat difference. Of course, these needed a bit of gold on them. I just applied it to the egg on the two with the tissue transfers. I felt the jellyfish was perfectly fine by itself, and I think it just gives it a little bit of elegance and playing on that Jack and the Beanstalk a little bit with the golden goose egg symbolism. They went into the gold luster kiln and they came out and I really like them. They're really growing on me. Seeing them from all the angles, I think they look really cool. A lot different from my usual work, but a really cool technique if you guys want to try it out for yourself. I definitely think I want to try this idea again, but with those bolder patterns I mentioned. Yeah, I just really want to convey that quilted idea, maybe even do some little hexagons that are my own designs. The gold egg just makes it. I'm just so glad I did that. Like any other color, it just wouldn't have popped as much as it does here. I also had this issue where some of the transfers didn't properly transfer, and I'm not really sure why. Just like one little spot on the teapot, maybe there was a bit of of residue on there before I sort of sponged it on. Not sure, but yeah, that happened. The jellyfish look super fun. It was an experimental design, definitely not one I would be attached to. I am a flower girly through and through, but hopefully this one inspires you or calls to you in certain ways where my other works haven't. You can also see how the pieces don't really fit the best. I really just don't know how I'll fix that other than changing clay bodies. I think maybe even not glazing the bottom of the teapot. It's just a really hard one. I think it's just my clay. Even if I changed clay bodies, that would just be a lot. I was thinking about, I was like, because if it's glazed on the inside of the teacup, then I can't put the piece on top because it'll be touching glaze no matter what I do. I don't know, really tricky. I tested their pour. They aren't the best. We have obvious dribbling from every single different size pour spout and angle I tried. I think it also could just be the design of the mold. I haven't had enough experience with teapots to know which ones are the best angles for optimum pouring with minimal dribbling yet. Otherwise, a very funky mold. So cool. I really want this one to work. So I'm definitely going to give it another crack, and I'll also read your comments for some ideas on what you think we should do. I'd love to know what you thought of this mold. Would you get a Tea for One set? And are you going to try that hexagon quilt transfer idea I shared? Thank you again so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos, and here is your sneak peek for the next one.